Welcome to the Michael Singer podcast, presented by Sounds True, in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information about Michael Singer's work, access to all prior episodes, and information about upcoming releases, we invite you to join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com.
Jagger, Jam Masters. I think one of the great misunderstandings, and the mind will always misunderstand, about surrender, about acceptance, about spirituality, is that if you surrender, if you tolerate what's going on, you will end up getting what you want. Can I say that again? If you surrender, you struggle inside to try to accept what's going on, that there's this fairness, there's this justice, this grace, that you will be rewarded by getting what you want outside. There's periods in your growth where you will see that. And you will someday find out that you don't need those. You don't even want those. It is the times where you have trouble surrendering, you have trouble accepting, and you try to make it so that you're okay, that you're not growing. Because what you're basically saying is, I want things to be the way I want them to be. That's the only way I can be okay. And that by trying to let go of the ego, by trying to surrender, I'll get them that way. What you'll find out as you grow, as I just said, that your real growth happens when what's happening outside or inside is not tolerable to you, is not comfortable to you. You reach a point where you can actually be conscious enough to say, why is this not comfortable to me? There's just events happening outside of me. I keep trying to teach you, and I know and no one gets it. They're happening everywhere. Not the same events, but there are events happening on every single spot on the entire planet, every single moment, aren't there? You seem to be okay with those. They're not bothering you. If you read the paper, then that's an event. You're getting it. But I don't care. You don't read all the time. You don't read the paper all the time. And there's 800 million things going on just on the planet Earth that you're not experiencing, and I'm telling you, you're fine with those. What do you mean? You don't complain? You don't demand that they change? You have concepts and views and opinions and preferences and hopes and dreams about those things. Somehow they're okay. I don't understand why. Because the people that are in the spot you're in think your spot's okay. That is the major awakening. When you realize, gee, that's the truth. I am capable of surrendering and accepting 99.99999% of what's going on in the universe. In fact, I am perfectly capable of accepting, honoring, and respecting that what goes on Mars, Jupiter, etc. I can handle it. How about you guys? Can you handle it? And then there's all these things going on the planet Earth. Can you handle them? Yes, except there. Why would you not be able to handle reality? Why is there an accept? Because I've had past experiences, personally. I've had the experiences. I didn't have the other experiences, but I had those experiences. Yeah, but you remember, everybody else has experiences too. And you've had every moment of your life, you had experiences. But some of them were not pleasant. Some of them, when they came in, didn't sit well inside. They caused disturbance inside of me. Keep remembering, the other 99.999% that are just as much going on didn't do that. And they keep trying to stretch you from personal to impersonal. Impersonal is the truth, isn't it? It really is going on everywhere, isn't it? And if I plucked you out and put you on Mars, you'd be having trouble with that. With all of Mars? No, with like there what's going on. It's a clue. You're only having trouble with the things that you are personally experiencing. They're no different than the things you're not experiencing. You'll make me cry because I know no one will listen. Here you are experiencing this. He's wearing red. It bothers me. It reminds me of bullfighters. I don't like bullfighters. Okay? What do? Now he's not. I just turned to the left, by the way. All you have to do is turn to the left. Look up. Look down. And all of a sudden it's not bothering you, is it? Well, why is this 0.0001%, and that's not even close to how small it is, bothering you and the rest doesn't bother you? That is when you have just begun to grow spiritually. Because that's the real question, isn't it? That's a serious question. Why? The answer is, and I'll do it very quickly because we do it all the time, that's very important, because when there's some experience that happened to you, which are just experiences happening to you, that's all. People are born, people die, people get sick, people get well, people like you, people don't like you. It all happens. Maybe you notice. Don't worry, it's happening everywhere else too. Everything's happening. It's a happening place. The whole universe is a very happening place. But if what comes in at the moment you happen to be experiencing comes in and doesn't feel good and is disturbing, you don't like that. Maybe you know that. Well, the why it's disturbing is very deep. Let's start at the deepest level. If something hits your body, something that's happening, and you have a nervous system, which you do, depending on how hard it hits your body, or how cold it is, or how hot it is, hear me? Stimulates the nervous system. And it doesn't always feel good, does it? Okay? Why? Because that's the nature of the nervous system. It's meant to be sending you messages. It's not doing something wrong. It's sending you a message saying, maybe this is too cold for me, for your body, not for you in there. You don't have a temperature inside. The consciousness is experiencing what's being sent back from the outside world. You don't get cold. You don't get hot. You experience cold and hot. Who does? You, the consciousness. So the body is doing what it's supposed to be doing. It is sending messages back to kind of tell you, hey, I'm out here also. I know you're lost in your thoughts up there, but I'm freezing. I'm boiling. Or this hurts. Don't stretch that much. You're lifting too much. It's trying to tell you something. It's your friend. Pain is your friend. That pain, the physical pain, is the body communicating to you that I know you're not in your body. You're back here experiencing things. I better wake you up. I better stop you from thinking what you're thinking. Hey, hello, I count too. That is the purpose of your nervous system, to communicate to you, to make adjustments. There's nothing wrong with that. The trouble is that if it doesn't feel good, you don't like it. What does that mean? That's a psychological state. Liking and not liking are psychological states. Experiencing is a reality state. I'm experiencing cold. All right, what about it? It's waking me up. I need to go inside. I need to put another coat on. You wear a blanket. Okay, very good. I'm glad you did that. That's wonderful. You're a very wise person. You behaved in accordance with the harmony of what's going on. Now what happens? Now you're afraid of the cold. Now you want to move to Florida. Listen to me. I'll build it slowly. It left an impression in your mind that is no longer the experience you're having. That's the problem. There's nothing wrong with the nervous system telling you and you adjusting to it. So surrender doesn't mean pull up with the cold. Don't worry about no, come on, man. Surrender is deeper than that. It's basically saying, be here now. If you're cold and that's really happening, adjust. Come down and help. Do something about it. Right now we're talking about your body. Later we'll talk about more. But help your physical body that's having trouble. But then don't make it a thing. Don't sit there and say, now I don't like cold. I'm afraid. I heard the weather forecast is going to be getting down to 40. Now you've built something inside your head that's not even going on yet. That's the problem. And you do that about everything. If it doesn't feel good, right now we talked about the body's cold and hot, but what if Somebody says something to you and it comes in and it's got this caustic vibration to it that feels yicky. Ever happen? You don't even know the person. Bad vibes. Can that happen? It's bad. It didn't feel good. Okay, fine. Maybe you walk away. You need to deal with it. But you don't need to not like that person or people of that nationality or people whose hair is a certain color or a certain religion because that person whose vibes weren't good left a bad impression on you and you kept the impression. Beyond having to deal with the situation, you made a thing out of it. You realize I just listed why people are prejudiced. They've had experiences, including their parents teaching them. They have things that left impressions on their mind that are not happening. That's the problem, because you have all kinds of impressions. And what you stored in there, I guarantee you, is everything that ever bothered you. And if it bothers you enough, it becomes a traumatic experience. In other words, I can't get my consciousness, my awareness off of what happened. Years later, it's still bothering me. Things remind me of it. That's not natural. It's not even happening, and you're doing that. If you collect enough of those, and you have throughout your life, anything that bothers you, you kept. So now there's so much in there that you stored that almost anything outside stimulates something. It's not hard to get upset, is it? It's not hard to be disturbed, is it? All kinds of things. The tiniest little thing. I told you, you're telling somebody a beautiful moment. Just this beautiful moment. You're full of love and you're melting. It's so beautiful. And you can't even help yourself. And out of your mouth comes, God, I love you so much. I've never loved anybody so much in my whole life. I can't even handle it. I love you so much. And out of the other person's mouth, yeah, I love you too. I understand they told you they love you. No, that's not going to work, is it? Every tone, everything, somebody standing too close, too far away, talking too loud, talking too soft. You hear me? Everything bothers you, but not everything. Why? Because you're not stupid. If it's in there and it's going to bother me, I already know that. So I'm going to go outside and manipulate the world so that what unfolds in front of me doesn't bother me. Anybody ever do that? Anybody ever not do that? I'm building it for you. So now not only do I have the core that something happened, let's make sure we're talking both sides. It happened. It was cold. It was hot. She didn't say a nice thing. Somebody forgot my birthday. Something happened. Did it feel good? No. Can you let it go? That's the other side. Does it have to be a thing that from now on, every time you have a birthday, you're afraid someone's going to forget it? And you make a big deal out of your birthday to make sure everybody remembers so you don't have to feel what it's like if they don't remember, because I don't want to take that chance. Because that's what it gets like in there. You start living your life to try to manipulate the world outside so that when it comes in, it doesn't hit your stuff. Otherwise, you're in trouble. And so is everybody else. Why? You can't let it be. You can't surrender really because you have so much stuff inside that you haven't surrendered. Then now you can't surrender the outside. It has to be the way you want it to be. And that is the cause of suffering. Why is that the cause of suffering? I thought the cause of suffering is the thing that happened, the cold, or the person didn't say something nice. No, that's not the cause of suffering. That's an event that you experienced. It came in, it passed through, you learned from it. You learned that some people are in a bad mood. They had bad pizza last night and they said something mean. Don't they? They could do that. Is that right with you? People do things because they're messed up. Not because you're messed up, right? But you get messed up because they're messed up. All right? And then your whole life becomes attempting to manipulate everything so that it's not the way it was when you didn't like it. And that's the life you're living. And you wonder why you're disturbed. You wonder why you're scared. You want to have anxiety. That'll create anxiety, won't it? Maybe what happened to me when I was 3, when I climbed that tree, and now I'm 33 and my children are climbing and I won't go with them. I won't know. And I don't want them to climb the tree either. Why? Because you stored the stupid thing in there. People climb trees all the time. Children, don't they? So if they're doing something stupid, like going on a limb that you can see is going to crack, there, it came in, you deal with it. You don't tell the kid you can't ever go anywhere by yourself. I have to be. You don't extrapolate it out to where you're just a neurotic mess because you don't want the things to happen that bothered you before. I ask you, when you tell me it bothered you before, is it bothering you now? Yes, because you're making it bother you now. It's not happening. Your whole childhood, all your formative years, they're not happening anymore. They shouldn't be bothering you. And if you want to hold everything that ever bothered you to say it's going to bother you again, you're in trouble. And you are. And that's the problem. So it's not that things happen. It's not that there's cold. It's not that some people aren't nice. It's not that things happen that do feel disturbing when they come in. I call that the prime reaction. It's prime. It's the real reason. It just feels disturbing. The vibration was bad, cold, hot, whatever it is. There's your primary event. But you make secondary and tertiary and quaternary events out of it. You store it your whole life, and now everything bothers you, and nothing to do with it. That's why life is tough. Life is not tough because it can get cold. That's just an experience, just an event. It can come in, it can go. Deal with it. Of course you deal with it. Nobody's supposed to be an ascetic, somebody to renunciate or stand in the cold. I don't know. You want to do that, do it, all right? But more what they're trying to teach you is, I can handle discomfort. Okay. If you handle discomfort, you don't need to stand in the cold till you freeze. Why? Because you're perfectly fine with cold when it's happening. I don't have to make it happen. All right? If you can handle everything, doesn't mean you don't deal with it. You deal with it in the moment it needs to be dealt with, and then it's gone. It passed through. It's like the wind. It doesn't have to stay in there. It's not worth it to build every single thing that could ever go wrong because of a problem you had before and try to make sure that every moment doesn't happen like that again. No wonder it's hard to live in there. That is the cause of suffering. What did Buddha teach you? Buddha's teachings are very, very simple. All of life is suffering. Well, why? I don't break my arm every day. I said, no, but you cause yourself to suffer every day. Don't you? I just described why Buddha's right. The first noble truth. All life is suffering because I make it that way. How's that? I'm suffering. The time I wake up in the morning, the time I go to bed at night, and then I can't sleep anyways, so I suffer. It's a mess, right? But Buddha's teaching chills go down my spine when I quote his second noble truth, because they're so deep, and the deeper you go, the more you honor and respect it. The cause of suffering is preference. They normally translate that as desire, but great saints from the past have used the word preference. What's the difference between preference and desire? Nothing. Guess what? The preference comes first. The desire to have it happen is second. So preference is the core. So the cause of suffering is preference. Well, maybe the cause of suffering is sickness. No, if you don't mind getting sick, and you go through the situation with an open mind and an open heart, and you learn, you meet the doctors, you just go through the experience. You learn about the technology, you learn about MRIs and CT machines. You're open to the experience, and you don't suffer. You go through it. But what if it's so bad that you're going to die? You get fascinated to understand, I'm about to find out what happens after death. The age-old question that everybody's always asked, and there's all these philosophies about it, and teachings, and do's and don'ts. Just throw it out, because I am about to experience whether I'm still there after this body dies. And if so, what's it like? You will know. So you don't suffer, no matter what happens. If you don't have a preference that it doesn't happen, it's deep, you don't suffer. So that's very, very deep. And then Buddha's third noble truth, to end suffering and preference, which again is totally misunderstood. They take it as renounce, get rid of preferences, get rid of desire. Not a chance in the world. That's not deep enough. You don't try to get rid of preference. I like this person. I will not do anything because of it. I'll just give it to God. Well, you won't like God very much by the time you lose everything, right? It's not a matter of renouncing the preference. It's a matter of understanding why you have a preference. Buddhists say, work at the root. That's deeper. How do I renounce my preference? I really like pizza, but I'm not going to eat it. I'm going to give it to God. I want it. No, I'm not going to eat it. You're suppressing. That's a form of suppression. You have to go deeper. Why? Why do I want this? Why do I need this? Why do I not want that? Why do I have a preference? And if you look in there, you're going to find out it's because you've had past experiences that trained you, taught you to like this and not like that. You didn't just make it up. You did not make up your preferences. If you like going out on the lake and boating, maybe your father did, maybe you saw a movie, something got in there that from some age you grew up with that. And now you have a preference to be that way, and you may suffer because you can't do it anymore if your boat breaks. You hear me? It's a matter of looking inside, and you'll always find the same thing. You will always find why you don't like something and why you do like something. It's because you have some scars, these past experiences that you held inside that now manifest as desires or fears. What are your fears? Are you afraid of something you never heard about or don't know anything about it? No. What are you afraid of? You afraid of something that happened before that you really liked? No. You're afraid that something that happened to you before that was not comfortable to you might happen again. And so you don't want it to happen again, right? You have to be willing to let go of those impressions. It's all about these impressions that got left in there, and now they're so complex, it's ridiculous. I'll use this example, right? You're married to someone named Ben. You really loved him very much. It was tremendous. You had some years so beautiful and didn't end up so nice. And you got divorced. It was an ugly divorce. And now your best friend comes up to you like 2 years later and says, hey, I met this wonderful guy. Unbelievable. He's perfect. He likes the stuff you like. And you say, wow, I want to meet him. I want to meet him. What's his name? Ben. That was your ex's name. Oh, no, I've had enough Ben for a lifetime. I ain't doing it. And you mean it. You mean it. That's what's hilarious. Those Bens have nothing to do with each other. That's called a psychological problem. And that's because you allow those impressions to stay in there. I tell you, some of you have been divorced. Maybe you haven't. If it still bothers you, if you're still throwing darts at the picture, if you're still tearing the pictures in half, if you still throw out half the album, if the wedding album is getting burned on a regular basis, page by page, I don't think you got divorced. You hear me? You're still having a relationship with the guy or a gal. And a strong one too. You think about them all the time. So you wake up and you realize that the cause of suffering is that you have stored these impressions from the past. Instead of letting them go, as soon as they happen, let them go. It's fine. Yes, it wasn't comfortable. Yes, I got scared. Yes, I felt jealous. Yes, it didn't work out. Yes, I had a bad day. You just learn. That's what surrender means. You surrender the part of you that would have resisted. Has nothing to do with the outside. You surrender the part of you that would have kept that thing in there, so it made a mess of you for the rest of your life. Have you done that? Do any of you have things in there? That is why you're suffering. And that is why spirituality is so difficult, because you're trying to keep that stuff in there and then pray to God to get it the way you need it to be so you feel okay even though the stuff's in there. That's saying to God, help me keep inside of me that which keeps me from you. Instead of, come and get it. Every day, every moment. You want a piece of me? Here it is. And you learn that's what letting go means. We'll talk about the outside in a minute, but that's not what it's about. It's about in here. Are you resisting because of the garbage you have in there? Use it as an opportunity to let go of yourself. That is what Christ meant when he said, die to be reborn, because that is like death. Going through that stuff that you didn't want to happen to start with. Did you know when you were 5-year-old and you're now 55 years old, if something hits your stuff, it feels the same as it did when you were 5? You know that. You walk in the kitchen and there's a smell and it reminds you of what your mother cooked and you loved your mother. All of a sudden you start crying. You can walk in the kitchen, you smell a smell. You can walk out of there so fast you hear your mother. You wake up and realize there's a root to these things. Are you willing to let go? That's what letting go means. That's what surrender means. You think it means surrender outside. No, it means surrender inside so you're not holding on to that which is trying to come up and go out. That stuff does not want to be in there. That's why it keeps coming up. You think it keeps coming up because the devil's down there causing you trouble. No, the Shakti's down there. And she wants to flow, but this stuff is in the way. You listen to me. There's beautiful energy in there that's feeding you all the time. It's blocked. because you store the stuff in there. And now you're out there defending the blockage. Anybody ever get defensive? Does anybody ever get defensive? What are you defending? The part of me I'm trying to get rid of. The part of me can't handle what you said. The part of me can't handle what you did. The part of me can't handle what you said I said, even though I didn't say it. If you didn't say it, don't worry about it. But they think I did, so what? What do you think what somebody else thinks? My God, our thoughts are crazy anyways. Yours are. So what makes you think other people's are not? The truth of the matter is you have no idea what somebody else is thinking. You're projecting what you would be thinking onto them and then defending yourself. So you basically get up and you realize life is an opportunity to grow. Every minute, every second, good experiences, bad experiences, when they happen, they're real. How do you know? Well, they got in there and you feel them hitting your stuff. Let go. That's what letting go means. It means let go of your resistance to your past stuff coming up. There is the past stuff in there, and you push it right back down when it comes up, and you avoid situations that would touch it. I'm not going to that party. Ben might be there. But you're in Europe. Yeah, but you never know who he's going to be. He shows up everywhere. And you just finally get to the point where you wake up, and that's the purpose of these talks, and you realize, wait a minute, I get this all backwards. I'm sitting here saying I want to defend and protect the stuff that's in here. I have to struggle then. I have to figure out what to do. I have to worry that things won't be the way I want. And you eventually wake up and you realize, no, I don't want to protect the stuff that's in here. I want to help let it go. If it needs to come up, I want it to come up. Doesn't mean it's easy. Doesn't make it easier. But at least you have the right attitude. Your attitude is, I don't want this stuff in here. I don't care how much it hurts. I don't care how much it hurt when it happened. I don't want this in here. There. Now you're on a spiritual path. You just get to the point, and that is the point where you realize, wait a minute. I don't want to run around making everything be the way he wants or she wants, which is what you do. I have the right to like this. Yeah, you sure do. And you have the right to suffer also. Because if you don't get what you want, you suffer. If you get what you want, you're afraid to lose it. If you get what you don't want, you suffer. If you don't get what you don't want, you feel relieved and hope it doesn't happen again. Is that not true that if you get something you really, really want, you get jealous, you get possessive, you cling to it, you're afraid of losing it? So that doesn't sound like such a great win. Isn't it true that if something happens that you don't want, well, you suffer for sure. And isn't it true if something might happen that you don't want, even though it hasn't happened, you suffer? Pay attention. You understand this. You live it every moment of your life, but you won't do anything about it. You think the answer is to get it the way you want it to be so it doesn't hit the bad stuff. Get it the way you want it to be so it hits the good stuff, and get busy. Get busy making everything, every minute, every person, everything be the way you want it to be so that you don't have to be bothered. No. The answer is, why am I bothered? You're bothered because you stored bother inside of you. You've done it your entire life. Anytime anything bothered you, you stored it in there. I bet you could list the worst experience that ever happened to you. You stored that in there. They're over. I don't understand. How can that happen? Something happened 55 years ago. Because you stored it in there. It doesn't get old. It just stays in there blocked inside of you. And not only do those blockages cause you to suffer and cause you to struggle, they block the Shakti flow. That's why most people don't even know there's a Shakti flow. There's a natural flow of joy, of ecstasy, of love, of peace flowing inside of you that is being blocked by all this stuff. So it can't come up. It's trying to push its way up. That's why the stuff keeps coming up. You push it right back down. So there's the foundation for what we were talking about when we started. Spiritual growth is not about getting what you want. Spiritual growth is not about thinking. It's all about having it be the way you want it so that you don't suffer. It's why are you suffering? The event didn't make you suffer. She's standing right next to you. The same event is happening. She didn't suffer because she didn't have the past experiences you had. How many ways can I say it till you finally wake up? It's about getting rid of that stuff that you have stored inside. If every single thing that ever disturbed you, you keep inside, you are going to be disturbed. Why? Because you collected disturbance. So the answer is not to go out there and struggle and try to make everybody be the way you want them to be. The answer is to let go of your stuff when it comes up. Now the question becomes, Can you do that? Can you let go of every single thing you stored in there? Of course you can. Of course you can. When it comes back up, do you push it down? Just don't push it back down. So believe me, it'll come up. Won't it? But you can't handle it. It's disturbing. It was disturbing 5 years ago, 20 years ago, 5 minutes ago, and it's disturbing now. Maybe, I'm going to say it, maybe you need to learn how to handle disturbance. Maybe it's just like when it's cold out and your nerves are telling you it's cold. Can you handle it? Yes. Now what? Now deal with it. First, handle it. Be okay with it. Well, if you're not okay with it, you're just going to be suffering about it. It's cold. Okay, I need to get inside. I need to borrow a coat. I need to do something. But I'm doing it with love. I'm doing it with understanding. I'm doing it as I'm doing it as an act of service to my body. I'm not even doing it for me. I'm not doing it because of past experiences. I'm just sitting there saying, oh, I have a responsibility to deal with the body reasonably. And guess what my body's telling me? It's cold. It's hot. This person's talking mean to me. Now you get psychological resistance as opposed to physiological. It's the same. You have a nervous system outside that's communicating to you, and you have this psychological system inside that you built. You built your ego. Nobody's in there but you. Are you willing to own it and realize, whoa, it can be really nice in there. So nice you can't even imagine because you've never experienced it. Again, what I think is funny, like I said, I'm a nice Jewish yogi. Christ's teachings are phenomenal. Man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that leaveth the mouth of God. What it means by man doesn't live by bread alone, it means you don't live by the outside. There's inside energy that can feed you. It does. Man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that leaveth the mouth of God. That's the Shakti. That's the spirit. And it can flow freely inside no matter what's happening outside. And so the answer is very simple. What caused the problem? You not being able to handle life. What is the solution? You being able to handle life. And that's what the essence of everything I teach is. How to learn to handle life. Not how to learn to manipulate life so that you can handle it. That's not growth. That's basically, here, I'm having trouble with a relationship. I'm going to give you a list of things I want you to do that will make it so I don't have trouble with the relationship. And I'm going to check every single day, 3 times a day, to have you write an essay on how you're doing them. What have I just done? I got stuck in myself, and I'm manipulating everything outside of me so that I can handle what I can't handle. There are people who do what I just told you, okay? So, and basically you get to the point where you say the answer is very simple, which is, the problem is that you can't handle it, that you didn't handle it, you couldn't handle it. The solution is that you can handle it, and you do handle it. Whoa, but I can't handle it. It hurts. It's scary even to think about it. So I don't know why you're telling me that. How can I do that? Okay, I'm a very loving, compassionate person. I understand that there's stuff in there. Is there stuff in there that's hard to handle? Is there stuff in here you don't want to handle? Is there stuff in here you haven't been able to handle? Fine. The teaching shouldn't say, handle it. That's not the teaching, right? We need to learn to handle it. It's a learning process. There will be things that happen that are pretty minor. It's cold. It's hot. I always use the example of the driver in front of you. Everyone yells at me if you use that example. It's a perfect example. Do you ever get upset because the driver in front of you driving 50 miles an hour behind the speed limit, not using their blinker, stepping on their brakes all the time? Has anybody ever talked to the driver in front of them? But it's not doing any good. You're just causing yourself disturbance for no good. I told you before, if Mickey gets like that, all right, my favorite is, okay, someone's driving 20 miles an hour with a speed limit, 50 miles an hour speed limit, they're driving 30 miles an hour. It happens, doesn't it? And it happens to be a dotted line, and there's no one coming, and I get to pass. All right? And so I still, it's an aggressive move to pull out and floor it and go past the person and use your blinker and go back in, right? Okay, fine. You dealt with that energy, right? 1 mile later, we stop at a stop sign. The driver pulls right behind me. And I look at that. I stick my tongue out at Mickey. See? Did you have fun yet? That's how you learn to work with yourself. You dare to notice those tendencies. And you dare to sit there and say, maybe next time I'll drive 30. And I'll breathe a lot and relax. just for the fun of it, just to learn. It's not renunciation, it's practice. That's a very different thing. Renunciation is, I can do it. That's pushing down. This is accepting the situation and practicing being okay. That's what I teach. If you want to learn the piano, you practice. You don't just know it right away, do you? You practice. If you want to learn a sport, you practice. What's wrong with practicing the most important thing in your entire life? Learning to let go, learning to handle reality. How about that? There's the spiritual path. There's my task to you. You want a teaching? All right. Learn to handle reality. So the mind's very tricky. It says, how do I know it's reality? Well, Christ again. Let those of eyes to see, let them see. Let those of ears to hear, let them hear. Did it happen in front of you? Not that somebody else say it. Did it happen in front of you? Yeah. It's probably reality. It happened. It came in. Can you deal with it? No, I don't want to. That's a different story. Can you deal with it? Can you learn to deal with it? I'm driving down the road and I drive past a tree that reminds me of when I was little and there were magnolia flowers, but they were rotting. And this one's not rotting. And I feel why could my mind, what are you doing? Just please drive past the tree on the side of the road. No. Why? Because, you know what I'm saying? You couldn't handle driving past a tree. That's pretty funny, isn't it? You couldn't handle driving past the tree. What do? Learn to handle it. What does that mean? Instead of resisting or clinging and holding on to, relax. It's all my experience. I've been doing this for 55 years every day of my life. It's all about relaxing. It's all about when it comes in, it's going to hit your stuff. And the tendency will be to push it away, to manipulate it, to not experience it. You're wrong. You want to experience it because the experience is it coming up and releasing. Otherwise, it'll be in the next tree. Whew, got over that one. I'm not driving this road again because I'll see that tree again. I don't want to feel that. No. You just sit there and say, I'm going to practice being okay. And you start with the small stuff. Why? Because you can't even handle the small stuff. You can't handle it's hot. You can't handle it's cold. You can't handle that when you got home, somebody wasn't there that you expected to be there. You can't handle when somebody said, I'll call you at 3 and it's 3:15. Practice handling it. How? Notice the disturbance. Notice that the energy that comes up is disturbing. That's because you stored it that way and you want it to come up. So you have enough consciousness, awareness to say, I can handle this. I can handle this. It's small enough. I can handle this. I'm a kid and I'm playing the piano, I'm practicing, and I hit a wrong note. I don't ever play ever again. Come on, you can handle. That's why you practice, so that you hit wrong notes and learn. Life is exactly the same. That is why you took birth. You took birth to learn to handle it. Earth is a place where souls are sent to evolve. You're not evolving if you're busy trying to stay the same. No animal ever evolved by staying the same. That's the antithesis of evolution. You took birth to evolve. Earth is a place where souls are sent to evolve. But things happen that I don't like. Earth is a place that souls are sent to evolve. It's not a place where souls are sent to fight to make everything. Have you ever noticed that some people do the opposite that we're talking about, and they have power, wealth, position, whatever, and they use everything they have to control everybody else to make it be the way they want? Has anybody ever noticed that? How does it feel to be on the other end of that? Are you listening to me? And I'm not picking any one particular person. Or if I was, I would use the name of Hitler. Because he's a good example of someone that couldn't handle anything. And then tried to make it be the way he needed it to be so that he could handle it. 6 million Jews, and they weren't just Jews, there were also gypsies and Catholics, but mostly Jews, to say the least. What in the world is wrong with a Jew? Nothing. It's just people, like everybody else. But he couldn't handle the sight of a Jew, could he? So much so that you know what he did and caused everyone else to do. Holy mackerel. That's some serious resistance. That's some serious inability to handle reality. Make sure you're not that. Make sure on your own little scale, with your own little world that you interact with, that you're not doing that. They're not sitting, I can't handle. I have a coworker. I can't handle this. I can't handle this. I can't handle that, right? I do it all the time, literally. Somebody talks too loud, they stand too close, sing too loud, something, all right? Or maybe it was perfume. Some people are allergic, it's different. But maybe I don't like it. Every time, I remember a story that Ramakrishna, the great saint, he was having trouble in his meditations because there's a church bell near him that gongs on the hour. Okay, it's not like it's 6 or 7, gong, 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 and it disturbed his meditations. So he went to a great master. He was already a great master, but he went to another great master, and he said, it's disturbing my meditations. And the saint told him, don't try to not listen to it. Do the opposite. Listen to it, love it, honor its right to bong and exist and vibrate. Let it become part of your meditation. And Ramakrishna said, he was a great being, could do it very quickly. He said, never have a disturbance ever again. Never bother them ever again. All right? That's how you deal with these little stupid quirks that you have. You learn to love them. You know, sit there and say, I have the right to not like it. Yeah, you have every right in the world to suffer. So you start practicing. This is what it means to let go. It means when you feel the tendency to tense, to resist, to push away, you catch yourself. You don't fight. It's not wrong. If you're playing a piano and you hit a wrong note, that's why you're practicing. It's not wrong. Just feel the tendency to close. I'm telling you, relax. Just do the best you can. Just relax your heart, relax your shoulders, relax your buttocks. In the face of the tendency to resist, to push it away, to close, relax, and wait till you see how fast you grow. You do it any time you notice, but you won't always succeed. I'm giving you so much room. I make it so easy, you know what I mean? Compared to other teachings. Yes, there are times it will come up. You will try to relax, and the next thing you know, you're face down in the mud, carrying on like a maniac, resisting and carrying on, and trying to justify it. Well, anyone would have trouble with this. Look what they said. And so you realize, I'll do the best I can, but if it happens anyways, then what do? What if I fall? I'll call it falling. What if I fall? What if it doesn't let go and it pulls me down? The moment, and I practiced this for years. I did. You hear me? My whole life. I don't have to anymore like that, right? But the moment you see it pulled you down, and you will come back up at some point. Do you understand that? The disturbance wasn't strong enough, and at some point it will start to release up. The moment you notice that it's releasing up, right? Let go. Don't judge yourself. Don't be sorry that you fell. Don't you dare judge. You're here to practice. You know, the most you can say is, I'm going to cry. I'll do better next time. Nothing else. No guilt, no shame. That doesn't help. Just do the best you can to stay up. Work with the situation. Be conscious. If it pulls you down and you come back up, let go. Appreciate it. You'll do better next time. Now I can do better. I learned. And honor and respect yourself for doing the best you can. And I'm telling you, wait till you see how fast you grow. And if you say to me, but I can't do it with the big things, okay, fine, don't do it with the big things. But at least do it with the little things. And when you do it with little things, if I practice that piano, I'm going to get better. If you practice letting go, you're going to get better. No matter how small the thing is. My wife or my husband, they just irritate me. They don't button the top button of their shirt. Why? Okay, come on, man. Take something little that bothers you and try to relax through it. You will get better. That's how I used to teach it. It's a hard thing to understand. That's the level of discomfort. That little thing, the heat, the button. You hear me? It's a level of discomfort. If you can relax through that level of discomfort, you can relax through everything of that level of discomfort. It's about handling the level of discomfort. And once you can handle that level of discomfort, you just do the same thing. Just relax. And next thing you know, you are growing so fast. Are you willing to let go of yourself? Christ called it being died to be reborn, truly being died to be reborn. Are you willing to die to be reborn? Because it'll kill you. Wound it. Letting that stuff come up and realizing, the main thing to say, do you want that down there for the rest of your life? Obviously, no, right? Then let it come up. No, yes, right? You just reach the point where you learn how to do that. And I'm telling you, you'll get better at the next level, then the next level. And you wouldn't even know you got better because the stuff that used to bother you won't bother you anymore. You would sit there and say, boy, am I growing. You wouldn't even know because it didn't touch you at all. And eventually, okay, we got a few minutes left. It's not a matter of accepting it, of relaxing through it, of being able to handle it. You get to the point where you realize it releases so much love, so much Shakti, so much inspiration and joy for life because you're not blocking yourself now, that you start to honor the process, not tolerate the process. You honor the process because you realize it's not only freeing me to feel this good energy, I'm feeling something much deeper inside. You start to experience what you start calling God. Not because you believe in it or don't believe in it, but because there's this expansive energy open up inside of you and you start having experiences that are just transcendental, just beautiful. Or I'm not talking about visions or anything like that, just talking about the inner experience of the flow of Shakti pouring up. And eventually you get to the point where you welcome everything. You would dare push it back down under anything. And the things get bigger and bigger. So you learn that this process of purification is the purpose of life. That's where I started this thing, and I'm saying it. It is not that getting what you want is the purpose of your life. That can't possibly be, because the reason you want something is you got stuff inside. So getting it the way you want means you won't grow. Opening up and surrendering and saying, not my will, but thy will. And I tell people, write me, they say, but I'm letting go. And I say, not my will, but thy will. And still it's not the way I want. And they really mean that God's will must be that I get what I want. Why else am I doing this? God knows what I want. He'll take care of me. He'll take care of everything else. And plus, I know what's right. You know what's right for you. And they really believe that what God's supposed to be doing is making you be the way they want. Instead of understanding what we talked about, you dare to sit through this, right? It's none of your business what God does. It's your business to let go. You say, not my will, but thy will, you better watch it. Because you think that his will be what you want. No, God is God. Hey, how's he like off the earth? The sun's what? 93 million miles away. And then the closest star is so far away, you'll never get there. Unless they do warp speed or something like that, right? There's no such thing. Do you know that? How far away is your nearest star? How far away is it? 4.3 light years. Well, it's a 4.3. I don't know, no big deal. Come on, pay attention. I love sharing this with you. What's a light year? Pay attention. If I caught a beam of light, 186,000 miles per second. If I caught a beam of light right here above the earth, a beam of light right above the earth, just a little bit above the earth, and let it go, boom, boom, for 1 second, it circumnavigated the globe 7.5 times. Do that for 4.3 years every second, and you will get to the next star. And there's 300 billion of them in your galaxy. So basically, God's big, really big. And there's black holes, and there's galaxy-eating stars, so many interesting things, and they don't all seem so friendly, do they? God's everything, right? So I told you, what about the next galaxy? If there's 300 billion of those stars that took that time to go to the next one, where's your next galaxy? It's Andromeda. The next major galaxy system is Andromeda, right? 2.5 million light years away. 7.5 times in 1 second to circumnavigate the globe. Go that speed for 2.5 million years. Every second, you will get to the next galaxy. And there are 2 trillion galaxies. There, we just talked about God. Anybody want to listen? Okay, so I think we can surrender. I think it's all happening. As I started to talk, right? It's all happening. You seem to be very fine with it, right? I'm proud of you. Now just handle the 0.00001 part that's in front of you, because it's the same as everything else. Now you understand surrender? Now you understand letting go? Now you understand what it means to be on the path and transcending your personal self, which is so full of it's ridiculous. It is full of it, isn't it? It's full of you. It's full of stuff you collected. Let it go. Just work with it little by little and wait to see what happens to you. Chakra.
You've been listening to the Michael Singer Podcast, produced by Sounds True in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information on Michael's body of work and all back episodes, please join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. Sounds True, waking up the world.